Let's talk about the summer of 1989. If you were there, you remember it. A single, stark symbol just seemed to take over the entire world. It wasn't just a movie premiere, it felt like this massive cultural moment that appeared out of thin air. But did it? We're going to dive in and see how the biggest film of the year was actually a masterclass in corporate strategy.
It all started with the logo. All of a sudden, this sleek black and gold bat emblem was absolutely everywhere. I mean, you couldn't walk 10 feet without seeing it staring back at you from a t-shirt.
And of course, it was on posters, plastered on bedroom walls and in movie theater lobbies. It was this dark, mysterious promise of the movie that was about to drop.
But it went so much further than that. We're talking trading cards, keychains, video games, records. The merchandise just flooded malls all across the country. It was overwhelming.
This Bat-mania, as they called it, was incredible because it seemed to cross every line. It didn't matter if you were old or young, a man or a woman, a comic book fan or not. By the time Halloween rolled around, bat costumes were everywhere. It was a complete cultural takeover.
And the movie itself? It absolutely demolished box office records, pulling in over $40 million in its first 3 days alone. Now, for 1989, that number was just unprecedented. The hype had paid off big time.
But that really begs the question, why? Why this movie at this exact moment? Was it just some kind of lucky strike, a cultural accident that perfectly captured the feeling of the time? Or was there something else going on behind the scenes?
Well, the answer isn't really found in culture. It's found in the corporation that owned Batman, a company called Warner Communications, Inc. To really understand the mania, you first have to understand the business.
The scholar Eileen Meehan put it perfectly. She said, "Profit, not culture, drives show business. No business means no show." And that's the key. The decision to make a movie on this scale isn't just about telling a story, it's a business decision about selling a whole range of products. The culture that follows is often the result, not the cause.
To really get why Batman was built the way it was, we have to rewind a few years back to the early 1980s, when Warner Communications, or WCI as we'll call it, was in some serious trouble.
It's actually kind of incredible how close WCI came to the brink. In '83, the video game market totally collapsed, and it took their Atari division down with it. They lost a staggering $420 million and nearly got taken over. So to survive, they started selling off assets, even profitable ones like MTV, and they refocused on their core strengths: film, television, publishing, and music. And guess what? It worked. By 1989, they weren't just stable, they were a highly integrated, lean, mean media machine. And this whole recovery was powered by this brilliant strategy they perfected, called internal markets. The idea was actually pretty simple. Why spend a ton of money acquiring new stuff for every single division when you can just recycle the content you already own? They basically created this self-sustaining ecosystem where one project could feed revenue to every other part of the company. Okay, so here's how it worked in the real world. Take the film Against All Odds. WCI didn't just sell movie tickets. No, they took the Phil Collins theme song and sold it as a hit record through their music division. Then, they cut scenes from the movie into the music video, which they played on their cable channels as free promotion for both the film and the album. You see? One project, multiple revenue streams, all happening inside the WCI family. It was incredibly efficient.
So, with this powerful machine all revved up, Batman wasn't some creative gamble, it was the perfect raw material. First of all, they already owned the character through DC Comics, so boom, no licensing fees. They had already test-marketed a darker, more adult version with Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns comic, and it was a massive success. They even used that wild 900-number poll to let fans vote on killing Robin, a move the New York Times called a publicity stunt, which of course generated huge buzz. They knew exactly who their audience was from all their market research. This wasn't just a film, it was the launch of an entire product line.
All right, so once WCI had the internal machine primed and ready to go, the next step was to turn outwards. They had to take this perfectly engineered product and create a legitimate worldwide craze.
And what's really key to understand here is that they were basically operating in two completely different markets. The internal market, that was the controlled, predictable world of their own divisions, but the external market, that's us, the public and other companies, that was totally unpredictable. Winning that market required a massive coordinated promotional assault.
And they really put their money where their mouth was. WCI spent a reported $10 million on advertising alone.
You have to remember, in 1989, that was an enormous sum of money, all designed to make sure Batman wasn't just another summer movie, but the must-see event of the year.
And their attack plan? It was genius. They licensed the brand to over 100 different companies. But here's the really clever part. They offered a mix-and-match option. So a toy company could license the dark, armored look from the new movie to sell to adults, or they could license the classic, campy blue and gray look from the 60s TV show to sell to kids. They targeted every single possible demographic. They even put mail order forms right in theaters, turning ticket buyers into immediate merchandise customers. And then you add in the constant free advertising from Prince's music video and all the news stories about casting, you get a self-perpetuating hype machine.
So what this all amounts to is that Batman wasn't just a hit movie. Not at all. It was the perfection of a new business model. It literally created the blueprint for the modern blockbuster as we know it today.
And this is the ultimate takeaway. After 1989, a blockbuster wasn't just a story told on a screen. The film itself became the engine at the center of this massive commercial enterprise. The movie is just the beginning of a product line that stretches into toys and music and video games and way beyond. Batman proved that the business could be just as big, if not bigger, than the show.
So the next time you see a cultural phenomenon explode around a new movie, you'll see the corporate machinery, the internal markets, and the attack plan that set the whole thing in motion. As the source material so perfectly puts it, holy commodity fetish, Batman.